Bryce Young, coming out of Alabama, and he's at 5'10", 204. Brian, that's okay. 5'10", 204.
He ate like 15 cheeseburgers. It was
right?
No,
I saw his weight and I was like, "What the?"
It was 2-3 months of nonstop working out,
Right?
protein, and just adding muscle. And
you must
he
have
did
heard
it
us
the
talking
right
about
way.
They said it's so funny. They said like he didn't look. He gained he gained 20 pounds and none of it was muscle.
I know, Brian. I'm messing with you. There was somewhere out there I heard, okay, that he had a lot of carbs.
Yeah.
And we talked about this. We joked about it.
Yeah.
That he ate like a lot of pancakes in the early mornings. And we were making fun of him that he probably went up to the Waffle House somewhere in January. And then some kid who probably lost his redraft, probably doesn't play Dynasty, probably sat next to the number 1 draft pick and didn't even know that was Bryce Young next to him. That's what we were talking about, joking around. But look, either way, I've always liked him. I've never had an issue with him. I just, people were like, "Oh, he's too small." Throughout his career, he's always been that small guy, but he's always dealt with that. He's always managed to figure it out, managed to deal with this size. Got the Heisman Trophy in 2021, and then he was a 2-time All-American and a Maxwell Award winner from Alabama, and so he did really good. So I don't see why he wouldn't not be out of the top 5 draft picks,
3.
but we've seen these high draft prospects leave and do something else. We'll go to the next round or even later. So I don't know, but overall, in my opinion, I think he has good accuracy. And you can see it here. He makes good smart decisions, and he has to, though, because he's kind of size and mobile, obviously. Look at that run. So, and then I don't know. I think he's really good under the pressure, which it's kind of hard for some. Where CJ Stroud isn't good under the pressure. I think Bryce Young is a lot better at that.
If Bryce Young was naturally 215, 220 pounds, and he was Russell Wilson, because he reminds me of Russell Wilson a little bit,
Okay.
If he was that thick, I don't think that we would be having this conversation. Like the problem is that his slight build, and he had that shoulder injury. Mm-hmm. If he never had that shoulder injury and he had a bigger build, I don't think we'll be talking about this. He'll be obviously the number 1 quarterback coming out of this thing. He has arm talent. He sees things so quickly. It's like you pressure him, he gets better. That's what he is. Like he under all the pressure, he makes it happen. This guy has all of it there.
Mm-hmm.
He really does. It's just you worry about him being there for 5 years.
Right. We'll see. It's they were talking to a couple of DBs that played against him, and I can't remember who, but it stood out to me. Is they said it was really hard to read him, and they're like, "Well, why? Isn't that like that's a safety's job, man?" It is hard to read a guy you can't see. They were saying that they saw the line, and then the ball would just zoom out 100 miles an hour behind that line. They didn't see where he was because he's so small that it was difficult. Because here's the thing, as a safety, guys, what you're reading as coordinator, like you backpedal, you shuffle, whatever you got to do, right? You're backpedaling, and you're reading. First, your reads are from the outside in to receivers, right? You count 1, 2, 3. You count in. You see the routes where they go, and not only are you focusing from the receivers to the quarterback. That's what you're doing. And then you look at the quarterback. Is his shoulder high? Is his shoulder low? Is it leveled? Or is it open? That's what the safeties are doing. But if you can't see if he's at shoulder high because he's throwing way the hell out there, he's showing low because he's throwing here in the 5-yard line, or if he's opening because he's looking over his left shoulder, How can you read any of that? It's so hard for a safety to read this guy. And I think this what makes this guy kind of hard because of his size. Like, it might be an advantage. We don't know.
Yeah, I think the problem is the quick outs are going to be a problem for him because when you have 6'8" tackles and you're 5'10" and you can't see your tight end,
I'm sure he'll dump it off to somebody. I think he's just going to try and get it out to somebody.
He processes faster than anyone else I've seen.
I think he'll look. He knows the play in his head.
Yeah,
I think if he'll see something, he'll like throw it in that general direction. It might not. It might be towards the ground, obviously, but we'll see.
I think he has the most talent. Like, he could be unbelievably elite. He could be, in 5 years, we look back at this draft and say, well, how did we even consider anybody else? CJ Stroud was good, but Bryce Young is the guy. That's totally possible because he gets his grown man strength, he gets his grown man body on, and next thing you know, he's 5'10" and a half, 212, and sturdy.
Yeah,
that's totally possible. What's also possible is that he makes Kyler Murray look like a giant.
Like, I was just saying, I was like, I should probably draft him, and then I'll have Kyler Murray and Bryce Young.
Have the two shorties on your
Change my team name to the QB Shorties. I'm
just saying, it's difficult for, and it's okay. It's not difficult for corners. Let me put that out first. Okay, it's not going to be difficult for corners because corners, all they do is pay attention to the receiver and the coverage. They peek at the corner at the QB if they have the chance, but for safeties, it's going to be more difficult. It's reading the quarterbacks and
they can read Kyler Murray just fine in the NFL.
Yeah, but he likes to scramble outside, so where he exposes himself.
It's not because he likes to; it's because he has to.
Yeah, but he somehow exposes him, and he's tall enough to be red. Okay,
if Kyler Murray always has a number one receiver and took the game as serious as he should, Kyler Murray still will be a top 5, top 6 quarterback. Kyler Murray has that type of talent. So if Bryce Young could be Kyler Murray but takes the game seriously, that means he's good. He's damn good. And you did a really good job drafting him. That's exactly what, Braden, that's exactly why I'm not trading with you, because it doesn't matter which one I get. Just so you know.
So
I don't take who you take. I don't care who you take.
So let me put the stats up now because sorry, Brian.
That's good.
So look at these 21-20 rushing stats. So 2021 was
81 rushing attempts for 0 yards.
Yeah,
3 touchdowns.
Jesus. I mean, he didn't go anywhere. But he's
not.
What
the heck?
Because he's not going. That's not who he is.
I don't think that's who he is either.
Almost 5,000 yards in college.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, 15 games, 4,872 yards, 47 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions.
Yeah. So, but no, it's funny when I heard about that though. Bryce Young, like, oh, you can eat paint. I'm there. So yeah, NFL cheat code defense can't read a short QB. Yeah, it's for more specifically the safeties, potential middle linebacker, but the middle linebacker is a little bit closer. So if he looks within the gap by a shuffle to the left or shuffle to the right, where a safety is so far back on the hash marks that you have to keep within your zone. So it's a little harder, but that's one of the things I heard. It was harder for the safeties, but I can relate to what they were saying as not being able to see where his shoulder's dipping or where he's opening up.
I mean, that's the same thing we used to hear all the time about Drew Brees, and which I think is a very good comp. If he can gain the weight to be about 207 for real, be thicker, he could be Drew Brees. Drew Brees is what, the 10th best quarterback to ever play in the NFL. That's okay.
Yeah.
He has 1 touchdown, 1 Super Bowl. I don't think he's higher than 10. I think he's still below Dan Marino.
Top 3 in almost every stat.
Yeah, but it's because the NFL changed. He's not better than a lot of guys,
Yeah.
But still, he's still that good. at that size.
I mean, even if you're like top 10, still 10,
other than that,
everyone who played the game
is ever played the game.
Yeah, that's still like nothing to scoff at.
And I don't know if you're talking about as a safety reading his shoulder. You're talking about like, because
that's good, Anthony.
What do you say?
Wait, with the pads or without?
Gosh, bro. Look,
can you imagine if like Dan Marino and John Elway played today?
No, Dan Marino would throw for 200,000 yards. Like
right?
he would kill everybody. It would be unfair.
I mean, he was throwing for 5,000 yards when he didn't throw the ball.
I mean, Drew was small, and he hurt his arm as well.
It's exactly like him.
So it just being that small may have an advantage. I'm just saying it might, because after I saw them talking about him as safeties. It's just, you can't read a quarterback if you can't see him. All they saw was the ball just zoom out, just slinging behind the line. Where a corner, the corner is you're more. It depends if you go into a cover 3. On cover 3s, your corners go back with the one single safety in the back, and so there might be a roaming safety closer to the linebackers. But if you have a safety that can't read, it's going to be difficult for him to judge which part of the territory he's got to be on the hash mark. Both safeties.
I'm not sure it's because he's small. I think it's because Bryce Young is that smart, and
I know, but they can't read him. If I'm telling you, vision wise, the safety cannot see him.
There's a lot of short guys that do that. That had the same thing, but it's not just that. It's also that Bryce Young knows so much. He has his IQ is off the charts. He has unbelievable talent. He's going to extend the play. You're not going to be able to tackle him. So it's just like all that in that small package makes me what you're saying even more. Like he could be a cheat code. He really could be. Like you're saying, yes, with his size, it could be a help too. It's a hindrance, but it also could help. All of it, everything he has, as you said before, everything he's done, he's always been that size. He's always played as the smallest guy on the field.
He's always dealt with it.
He's always dealt with it, so he might know what he's doing and use that thing that everyone looks at as a negative as a positive for him.
Yeah, you just learn in the depth, and I think that's what he's just done his entire life. It's like he's just learned and adapt to play at that size. I said, don't QBs get well? Yeah, I mean, you got a freaking.
You better put a great left tackle on them. Yeah, that's why I think the Texans signed Tunsil, because if he's there, you got a great left tackle. So
that's exactly how what basically it is. It's corners. It's not so much for the corners. The corners can read, not specifically him, but they are manned up with their receiver. So usually it's either a catch-up game or you look at the receiver's eyes and then you make your move to knock it out. That's usually the corner's job. Like where the safeties has to read the QB. So it's very interesting because if he goes to Houston, the weapons that they have are bringing in, it's going to be interesting what they do there.
What's really interesting is that they have 3 in the top 32.
Yeah,
they literally have 3 first-round picks, so they can go get him. They go get a number 1 receiver, and they could get whatever else they need. They feel like they need. They need a tight end. They can do it at the beginning of the second round. They can do whatever is needed. They could go get. Mm-hmm. So that offense is going to be totally different, and they might shock some people with that team.
I think you're wrong. Didn't they just acquire?
They have a lot of guys.
Oh, they got Denzel Perryman, which all right, cool. Dalton Schultz signed finally or no?
Yeah.
Did he?
Texans.
1 year, $10 million, something like that.
Yeah, I remember him going somewhere.
It's Texas, yeah. So yeah, definitely.
Let me see who else did they bring in.
Adding in a QB and receiver in one draft. It's nuts.
And they do it. They could do it in the top 12 picks.
In the top 12 picks. Yeah, they can go after Bryce Young or CJ Stroud and Quentin Johnson, literally back to back. Like
We have our guy. We have our duo for the future forever. Like, that's good.
Shaq Mason. Didn't they trade for him?
Yeah.
They acquired him, right? Shaq Mason.
Yeah,
so not bad. Then they got who else they got? Trying to look who else they got. Ward, Perriman, Mason.
I'm sure they got a few 49ers.
Steven Nelson.
Yeah.
Ward.
Tufanga incoming.
If I can find it where they're at. I don't know, but it's they're making some moves. Is it going to win him? Then I don't know if it's going to be. I just don't think so. It's going to take time.
I mean, the fact that remember aren't they the ones with Michi coming back this year?
John Michi will be there. So they're basically, if they get Quentin Johnson, they're basically seeing 2 top elite receivers coming in. Well, we don't know what John Michi is yet, but I think he's good.
I think so too. I think he's going to be very good. And the fact that you have Robert Woods there to teach them, and Nico Collins is there too. Yeah. So I just feel like they will have a decent receiving core. They have running backs, Damian Pierce and Devin Singletary that's pretty good to have. You know, they have some things that the Texans could surprise. I'm telling you, 3 picks in the top 32 can surprise teams in that division. Exactly.
Yeah, that division is